Hi, my name is Sam Leeds.
And my name is Olivia Drez.
And welcome to the 6th episode of the Cedar Cliff Post.
Concerning world news this week, a new X Prize funded by avid Twitter user Elon Musk will award $100 million for top carbon removal ideas to address the pressing climate crisis. Musk is hoping to discover the best solutions that can pull carbon dioxide directly from the atmosphere and oceans. In addition, these solutions will potentially lock away the carbon dioxide in an environmentally benign way. In order to win this competition, teams must provide an extremely intricate scale model of their solution at a level of carbon removal of 1 ton of CO2 per day. The solution also must economically scale to a gigaton levels.
In U.S. news this week, the House narrowly passed Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package with a vote of 219 to 212. Biden's plan includes funding for vaccines, medical supplies, and another round of $1,400 stimulus checks in addition to a $15 federal minimum wage. Due to the complicated rules of the Senate, it is unlikely that Democrats will be able to keep the proposed $15 federal minimum wage when the bill hits the floor. In his first military action as president, Joe Biden authorized airstrikes against facilities belonging to Iranian-backed militias in eastern Syria on Thursday, February 25th. The airstrikes were authorized in response to attacks on U.S. targets in Iraq that wounded 4 American contractors and 1 military service member. Several buildings were destroyed, and the death count is unconfirmed. With no response from Iranian officials, it is unclear how this ongoing event will play out.
Hi, I'm Morgan Fairnoff, here with your local news. Could you imagine solving cold cases at just 19 years old? Well, that's exactly what Elizabeth College student Eric Schubert is doing. While recovering from pneumonia at the age of 9, Schubert developed a passion for genealogy. The cure for his boredom proved more than temporary. At 15, he began his own genealogy business, which inspired police to reach out to him for help. Using investigative genetic genealogy, Schubert says he's helped at least 1,000 people, mostly with cases involving adoptees trying to find their biological parents. From proving the Golden State Killer guilty to solving the infamous 1992 Lancaster County cold case, genetic genealogy has played a significant role in investigative cases through the years. Due to the limited budget with this type of investigation, Schubert has done much of his work free of charge and currently is involved with half a dozen cold cases. When he's not involved in solving mysteries, Schubert continues to work towards his political science and history degree. No matter what field he goes into, though, he says that genetic genealogy will always be a passion of his.
Recently, some schools in our local area have been petitioning to go back to full-time in-person school. So this week, when we asked students if they like the current hybrid schedule or would prefer to go back to school in person full-time.
I think I'd rather do hybrid because it's just a safer option.
We would prefer in-person instead of the hybrid schedule.
In school, it would definitely be better.
I'd prefer to go in person because I struggle to learn online.
So I'd prefer hybrid because if we went back into full school, we'd probably have to shut down right again because of the COVID. The COVID would just probably spike back up.
I prefer in-person learning because it's easier to learn.
I prefer in-person just because I feel like I can learn better whenever I'm in school, and I procrastinate so much and I get so behind on work because of the hybrid, but that's my opinion.
I vastly prefer hybrid. I like having time to myself in my house away from the pressures of school. It tends to be a little bit lighter on the workload, and I work pretty well independently, so it's a personal taste.
I'm Juliana Alvelo Davies, and this is your science briefing. The national COVID numbers this week are 462,067 infections and 14,065 deaths as of Monday, March 1st. California has become the first state to pass 50,000 deaths resulting from COVID-19. This comes after the state's long struggle during the coronavirus pandemic, which has led to hospitals having to turn down ambulances due to them reaching capacity. As always, wear a mask, wash your hands, and stay healthy.
Hi, I'm Ellie Sola, and today we're here to interview Mr. Weaver and ask him a few questions about his aquaponics class. Can you explain to us what aquaponics is?
Sure, it's an alternative farming technique that incorporates, instead of cows, of course we have fish. They are the source of our nutrients, and those nutrients are then processed by bacteria and worms, actually, in the system. And those nutrients then become available to the plants. So this entire system is centered around the fish, and the plants are then the filter for the fish, and we just so happen to harvest those plants and use them for food.
How does aquaponics help the environment?
That's kind of a tricky question, actually. In North America, for instance, I don't know that there's a real environmental reason to do what we're doing, only because we have plenty of arable land. We can farm conventionally and produce sustainable, produce that way. So it might be unfair to talk about how this is not a sustainable practice in a place like North America, because like in a city, I'll give you an example. London right now is converting World War II bomb shelters into aquaponics production facilities, because you can't farm in the middle of London, but you can produce this sort of farm and make fish and produce for the city of London right on the site. So it is sustainable and environmentally sound if you're taking sort of wasted space and wasted land, old warehouses in industrial districts. You can't really put a farm field there, but you can put this facility there. So you can bring fresh, sustainably produced produce to sort of, we call them food deserts.
What are you currently growing in the lab?
So the list of plants that we're growing is pretty long, but I can tell you about the really cool project that we're involved in right now. So we've developed this thing called the Great Lettuce Share Event. So every tower, we have towers and we have carts all over the district. So every tower in the district, our whole facility is all dedicated to growing lettuce for a donation project in early April. So we grow lots of greens. This environment is, it's not a greenhouse. So growing things like tomatoes and peppers isn't really a great idea just because the environment's not appropriate. So what it is appropriate for is lots of greens. You can see behind me, this is a fig tree. That's actually a banana tree. We have lots of herbs in here. Actually, there's a lime tree over there that we just harvested some beautiful limes off of. So, lots of the things that we grow aren't necessarily what people are excited about, tomatoes, peppers, but very nutritious and actually fresh as can be produce, like lettuces and herbs.
Do the students get to try them?
Yeah, anything in here is fair game for the students to eat, except there are some things that are houseplants. But we talk about all that, but I encourage the kids to eat as much as they can so they know, for instance, what does that lettuce taste like, or what does that herb taste like or smell like. So yeah, it's all fair game for us to eat. And figs, if you've never had a fresh fig off a tree, you don't know what you're missing.
How does this class help students?
So that's another tricky question. This class could be a tech ed class where they're building a car. This class could be, it's a student-run business, so it could be any business in any format. We market the produce here, so there's a whole marketing team, there's a production team who manages all the plants, their health, when to plant them, when to harvest them. We have a web team, we have basically every imaginable division of a business we have as part of this class. So the lessons that the kids learn, of course, they learn about biology and plants, but it's way beyond that. So, it's a crazy question, but I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Yeah, it seems like the students are able to be engaged in a lot in this class.
So it's kind of the cool thing about the class is it's a choose your own adventure. So if you showed up on day one, the first challenge is, what division of this class? Do you want to be a chemist in this class? Do you want to be a marketing specialist? Do you want to be a web designer? Do you want to grow plants? Do you want to, and we just started a whole nother division of fungal propagation, so we're growing mushrooms. Now we're moving outside, so we have a whole outdoor production facility, and we're going to have a market cart, so we're going to have roadside stand. So the possibilities of what you choose to do in the class are almost endless. And we have kids take the class multiple times. So let's say you took it and you wanted to take it again, you could design your own project. So for instance, a young lady named Madison Passmore, I just use her as an example because she's taken the class again, but isn't spending a ton of time in the lab. She's actually designing an edible landscape for one of the middle schools. And that's how she's spending her class time to implement this other project. So I guess the long answer would be, or the short answer to the long answer would be, kids will get out of it what they want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Minji Binyaga and This Week on Pop Culture. Lady Gaga's dog walker, Ryan Fisher, experienced an armed robbery. The incident occurred on Wednesday, February 24th around 9:40 p.m. Sources say that Lady Gaga offered $500,000 for the return of her dogs. Fortunately, her dogs were returned and Fisher survived. The singer even writing to Ryan's family saying, "I continue to love you, Ryan Fisher. You risked your life to fight for our family. You're forever a hero." Over in the movie world, Disney released a trailer for Cruella starring Emma Stone, which is said to be about how our beloved Dalmatian-obsessed Disney villain came to be. It is said to be released on May 25th, 2021. The first season of WandaVision is slowly coming to a finale as they have reached 8 out of 9 episodes. Big details have surfaced on who the real villain is. Lana stans are at it again. The fanbase randomly started using this picture as their profile picture on TikTok, telling users to join the Lana cult. Within days, other fan bases such as SZA, Harry Styles, and Ariana Grande fans have formed their own cults, telling other users to do the same.
Hi, I'm Tristan Methrow with this week's music segment. Focusing in on the musical this week, we have interviews with some of our production team.
I'm Mr. Topping. I am the producer of the show, and I also work as the music director.
I am Taylor Saraiva. I'm the artistic director and acting as tech director.
And I'm Megan McGee-Yinger. I'm the choreographer and associate producer.
Well, there's a whole lot of both. So I think we have both. There's a whole lot of lots of mitigation. So masks and trying to figure out how to do a show and both keep distance and figure out how to do the blocking and teaching music while wearing a mask. And you all know what that's like. So we've all lived through that in school and those kind of things. But there's also all the positives. It's the two different cohort groups coming together and people seeing their friends for the first time in a long time, doing an activity that we love and we get to be a part of, and the teamwork and camaraderie that you see in a musical. There's nothing like it. So being a part of that is super duper cool.
So the thing I'm probably most excited for is to not only have an audience, which we didn't get to have, having a larger audience than we anticipated, and just the excitement that the people we've told, oh, you can come see the show, how excited they get over coming to see a musical and doing something normal. So that's, to me, the most exciting thing.
Most exciting for me, we really focus on details here, like with cast, with our production team. I think I'm most excited for the audience to see everything we've worked on for the past 2 years.
I'm most excited for the students to have the opportunity to go forward and finally do it.
Thank you all so much for watching.
And as always, please follow our socials at the Cedar Cliff Post on Instagram and at Cliff_Post on Twitter.
Stay classy, Cedar Cliff.